Okay.
Okay, we're ready. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Crafty Duo show. My name is Annie, and this is my grandson. His name is his name is Dylan, and we're the Crafty Duo. I hope you've been joining us all summer long. We had a lot of fun. This is going to be our last episode, episode number 5. And we're going to talk about my favorite craft, which is creating
You're not doing mine?
well, it's yours too. Remember, you had fun making some of the boxes too. So we're going to combine our talents to show how we're going to reinvent cigar boxes or different craft boxes that you might have lying around the house and repurpose them.
Rules.
Yes, the rules. Thank you, Dylan. Dylan has to remind me.
Let's start over. I'm going to keep it going, but the first part, we didn't get the audio. So.
All right.
Hello again.
We're going to start all over again.
Yeah.
Okay. Say when.
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Crafty Duo show. We're starting again. We had a little technical difficulty, but thank you for joining us.
Did I already know all the stuff?
We're going to repeat some things. So we're the Crafty Duo. Thank you for joining us. My name is Annie, and this is Dylan. He's my grandson. He's the better half of the Crafty Duo. He's very creative, and we enjoy playing with arts and crafts. And we came along this summer to share some of our fun with being crafty as a way of expressing ourselves and just being positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to work with boxes. We've done boxes before, and we're going to show you how you can be very inventive with things lying around the house, whether you have old cigar boxes or old gift boxes or wooden boxes. You can just use your imagination and make some really cool things with boxes. But before we do that, we're going to go over some of the rules. Well, they're not really rules. They're tips, right, Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we start with number 1. Number 1 tip is?
Number 1, stay organized. Put something on the table.
Thank you very much. Put a table covering over your furniture. We don't want you messing up your parents' nice furniture or getting paint all over the floor. You want to have a nice, sturdy work table. Number 2 is?
Stay organized.
Yes, get organized. Put all your paint brushes, pencils,
I already
scissors.
said that.
Put everything in one container. You're wearing your nice clothes. You have a lot of time doing. Show you his, if you own phone stamps, and here he did a really nice craft. Let's get started. And it all started a long time ago. A friend of mine gave me this box. And you can see on here, you paying attention?
Yes.
This is very old. I would never give it away. I treasure it. But what he did was he put old buttons and costume jewelry. There's chain there. I don't know if you can get a close-up of that. But it's very ornate. There's some nails or just a lot. It's fascinating just to look at all the objects he put there. And then he spray painted the whole thing gold, which is now kind of weathered and faded a little bit. Then he even lined the inside with felt. And so I've always loved this box, and so I've thought, well, what other ways can we do things creative with different elements that you have at home? Here's an idea that I took using postage stamps. So that's a very colorful way to make the boxes. Using postage stamps, old postage stamps. Sometimes you can mail for old postage stamps, and they're very inexpensive. That's another example. Here's one that I made yesterday with a bag of old buttons. These are old buttons. They were all black, and the box was black. Dylan said he didn't like this too much because why?
Wait, what? I said I liked it.
Oh, you did like it, but he said it kind of looked a little spooky.
Like an oven.
Oh, like an oven. Well, what I did after I glued all the buttons there, I spray painted with like a metallic silver color, but it was too bright. So then I got some dark paint and kind of darkened it again. And so it kind of has a vintage look. Then I put this little piece of ribbon there to help me open the box. So that's another example, using old buttons. Another example is one that I've always liked to use with seashells. Here's one Dylan and I made this last year. Remember this, Dylan?
Mhm.
We painted the seashells, different colors, and
No,
then
you made that like when I was 5. Look.
no, we made these last year. Don't you remember? Because you made
No.
that one.
Oh.
Yeah, show them the box that you made.
I'll wait this one.
Yeah, Dylan made this box. And what he did, tell him how you made that box.
Well,
You painted it.
I got some. Well, I painted it first.
You painted it first.
And then I got a book like this, and
Some
I cut.
old magazines.
I cut
What is that?
like a chameleon.
He cut out a picture of a chameleon from an old National Geographic book.
And then I put some special spray that made it shiny.
Yes. Then after everything was dry, he put a special spray that kind of gave it a glossy finish. So there's another example, a great example. And what do you put in that box, Dylan?
What?
What do you put in your box?
Stuff.
Stuff. He puts his own special stuff in there. This one with the seashells. Don't drop that book. I just put some old seashells and rocks in there. Special things you can use. Now some of these boxes, like I mentioned, are old cigar boxes. And the nice thing is that you don't always have to paint the boxes before you get started. Some of them have these beautiful gold seals on them. You really don't want to hide that with paint. So what I like to do is use the boxes that are really nice with the gold accents. Just keep them like that. Then you can put something colorful. Now here's an example of maybe using some little squares. These are part of a bracelet that I took apart. There were these squares that had the Virgen de Guadalupe, and you could just use the squares that already have the images on there and arrange them on the top. So really it could be just about anything that you can think of. Oh, here's another idea. Watch this. You got
Yes.
bingo parts.
You keep forgetting that.
So you can use this. Also another thing that you can decorate are these little tins, these little mint tins. So this would be a nice way with these little bingo is to kind of arrange these little shapes on there. Already it blends in with the red of the box. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the different kinds of glue that we're going to use. I'm going to finish this box on the show today. And Dylan is going to work on his box. We're going to talk about glues.
Grandma?
Okay, we're going to talk about glues, okay, Dylan?
I know. I'm like Grandma.
You have a question?
Yeah.
What's the question?
When are we starting to make the crash?
Right now.
Oh.
We're
okay.
starting right now. You're on TV. Look.
I know.
So, the glues. There's different kinds of glues. So, the first thing you want to do is identify your box, whatever size and shape you want. Then find some of the elements that you're going to want to work with. Like Dylan is going to work with some paper shapes. Here's another idea. They're little loteria cards that have been cut up.
Loteria.
Loteria, which is the Mexican bingo. I'm going to put these shapes here. And what I did was cut up the little cards with a little zigzag edge. So you can use Loteria cards too. Dylan has some old stamps here, kind of like I did the boxes. Are you going to do the stamps on your box?
No, I'm gonna do these.
The stamps.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure.
These are old postage stamps. So Dylan's going to work with
some
that.
of these too.
Well, he can combine. He's going to use loteria and postage stamps, whatever you want. But when I'm working with my paper elements like loteria cards or postage stamps, it's nice to use this decoupage medium. It's called Mod Podge. And I like the matte, or you can get a satin finish. And I'm going to show you how to apply that here in a minute. But this is nice for making the paper stick to the box. You're going to start on the top of the box first, on the surface, the very top.
Would you like to train to?
And then I'll show you how I use the Mod Podge for that. But when you're using like buttons or found objects like this, you might need a little bit of a heavier glue, or especially if you're going to glue something onto a tin like this. If you use just Elmer's glue, it's not going to stick. We've talked about on the show this tacky glue, which is nice. Like this particular box here, I glued some plastic beads on there that would make it look like sand. But I used this tacky glue to glue that on there. And then I spray painted it white because I kind of wanted it to look like sand. And then I painted it with a little bit of a glittery paint.
Hey, Grandma.
But this one, yes?
I wasn't talking about like when we're going to do the show. It's talking about when we're going to start doing the box.
We're going to start doing the boxes right now. I'm just explaining about the glue.
Okay.
He's getting a little anxious to get started. We're going to get started right now. But this glue is another nice glue if you're going to do small pieces that are still relatively lightweight, and it's on paper. Okay, another glue if you're going to be gluing like something heavier, like the seashells or found objects. For that, you do need something that's heavier duty, like there's this product. It's called Quick Hold, and where's that other tube of glue? It's called E6000. Here it is. I'll put this here.
E6000.
So these are the kind of glues you want to use for something that's a little heavier, or something that you're going to glue onto metal. That will really help it to bond, these kind of glues. Or you could also use like the hot glue gun. That's another thing that you could use. All right, so Dylan, I'm going to have you start painting your box. You decide what colors that you're going to paint your box. Remember not to apply the paint too thick, because why, Dylan?
They'll dry out.
No.
What?
Why you don't want to apply the paint too thick? Because it'll take too long to dry. That's right. Unless it's a hot sunny day like today and you're working outside, then yes, your paint will dry fast. So Dylan's going to apply. One other thing is that I like to put feet on my boxes. If you notice here, it has feet.
Oh my God.
So what this is they're little balls that you can buy in the craft store, little wooden balls. If you just go to the section where they have all the wooden balls, some of these have even a flat surface, so you could paint the ball. That's what I used here. And then on the flat surfaces, you'd want to glue with the E6000 your little feet on the bottom. But that's the very end. Once you finish applying all the paint and all the effects on your box, then the last step is to put your feet on the box. That just gives it a little bit of lift. This one I painted these gold. It looks almost like metal. And you could even use some interesting knobs like that, which could be wooden pieces also, to help you open the box. And there's another important tip about this before I move on and I forget to tell you. It's always a good idea not to glue anything on this inside lip of the box. These edges here, you don't want to glue, or even you don't want to put anything heavy on those edges. And the reason is that it will keep
Can
lip.
I see my chameleon box of it?
Your chameleon box, yes.
For paint?
And two, sometimes if you put even like a varnish or a finish, that'll make it sticky and your box will stick closed and it won't open anymore. So keep that in mind when you use your boxes. I was starting to tell you about cigar boxes. I mean, you can go to a tobacco shop or maybe even liquor stores where they sell cigars, and you can buy the boxes. Some of them are this cardboard or wooden, and they're pretty inexpensive. Usually you can expect to pay maybe $2 or $3 per box, but sometimes you might find them in a thrift shop, or, you know, somebody's attic, grandma's attic, like grandma's attic. Grandma has a lot of boxes. Or you could go to the craft shop, like this box is paper mache, and at the craft store like Hobby Lobby, they sell these. They're paper mache boxes, and then you'd have to paint this and decorate it. But there's all types of sources, even gift boxes that you might get presents. Some of them are pretty sturdy, cardboard boxes that you can repurpose. Okay, so that's about the glues, and that's about the feet and the types of boxes. So I'm going to finish with this one. I kind of explained, this is an unusual box. It's a cigar box that somebody gave me, and I had the idea, I like to put the shells on there. So what I did was of these plastic, in the world would I ever do with those? I know I'll think of something. So it's days like this when you don't have anything to do and you want to be creative, that you can look around and see what you have. Dylan,
Yes.
you okay, honey?
Yes.
When maybe you're bored and you want something to do, that you look around and see what's lying around your house. Everybody has a junk drawer. You could even make something using old nuts and bolts and nails and odds and ends and make something creative out of it. Anyway, this is the idea I had with those plastic beads, and I put some shells there, spray painted it white with some glitter paint on top, and it kind of reminds me of the sea, of course. So I went through some old National Geographic magazines, and I found these lovely pictures. Do you need help?
No.
Of some fish and some life in the sea. So I'm going to show you kind of how I work with the decoupage medium to glue these on. And what you want to think about too, as you're going along, maybe there's certain edges, like I kept the edges of the cigar box because I find that's very colorful and interesting, is you can create a pattern with just a plain piece of paper to be your guide.
Can I have some glue?
Yes. Here's this glue. You like this glue?
But
Yeah.
But
The
for
decoupage,
these,
yeah.
for these.
This is the kind of glue you want to use, the Mod Podge. And you're just going to brush it on there with a brush.
Oh my god.
And if you need to add some water, you can add some water.
Why is there so many?
Layers,
Yeah.
it's just gooky like that. Okay, so Dylan's going to start to decoupage some of his stamps on there. Anyway, if you make a pattern, that kind of helps you cut the exact size that you want for that particular space on your box. Or you can just eyeball it. So here we go. I'm going to just eyeball it for this. And we're going to cut fish out here. Let's go like this. I hate to hide the green, but let's keeps some of the green showing.
I have to rip some of these apart.
Okay. The main thing is, you know, you can kind of create your own scene. It doesn't have to be fish. Obviously, it could be any wildlife or nature print that you like. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is you get a brush and get your decoupage medium, like so, and put a nice coat on the bottom, on the surface that you're going to want your image to stick to. You don't want to put it too thick, but you want to put a nice enough medium coat that it will glue. There you go. Then we stick that on there, like so. Kind of wait. And what you're going to notice with some paper is that it's going to start to create some bubbles in there, and that's okay. That's just the paper reacting to the moisture. Sometimes it's okay just to work with what happens and not get too upset about all the bubbles. Just let the bubbles be, because anyway, there's bubbles underwater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Dylan?
Yeah.
So let the bubbles be. That's just a natural effect of the sea. So there you can see how I glued underneath at the very bottom, and now I'm spreading the glue on top too. And I also kind of like to dip it a little bit of water in there just to kind of thin it out. And sometimes it helps me also, if there's bubbles, I can press down with my finger and smooth the bubbles out. If I really, really don't want any bubbles, that's one way to handle that. It's nice to have a nice moist cloth nearby so you can wipe your fingers and they don't get too sticky. So once that dries, I can see the bubbles now. But once that dries nice and dry, you want to maybe apply 2 or 3 coats. You could actually finish the whole piece with maybe 2 or 3 coats of the Mod Podge. And like I said, they sell it with either a shiny finish or a matte finish. So if you like the shiny look, you can buy that kind of glue. Got a little piece of glue here. You doing all right?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a great job, Dylan. I like that. But make sure it's sticking up. And then you're going to brush it all. The lid comes off like this. Here, Dylan. You could take the lid. You could do that. You want to make sure not to put glue in the areas where your lid opens. Again, because that's going to make everything stick together, and that would not be fun. All right, so then the inside is the next thing. Again, it's easy, especially on the inside, like I created this pattern, since it's harder to lay the paper flat in there, is I'm going to use my pattern like so to cut that shape. That way it'll be exactly the shape that I need to fit on the inside. So you could either use paper to line the inside, and I do like to use paper, but also another idea, a lot of people will use felt. Remember, we used the felt for puppets. So if you have leftover felt, that's a nice finish on the inside too. But it would be nice to create your pattern shape, that way you know exactly what size to cut. And then when you go in here, we're going to glue that. It's going to fit right exactly in there. See how easy? Makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to glue that in there now. Very easy. But you want to do one coat at a time. Let it dry completely, and then you can go in and a real glossy finish is you can go in with the spray paint sealer or varnish. Oh, my feet came off. I didn't glue them long enough last night. Actually, what I did last night, because I was in a hurry, I did. I used the double stick, the foam tape. We've used it on the show before because I said, I'm in a hurry. I can't wait for this darn glue to dry. Stick, but that's okay. Don't give up. You know, you can just go back in there and use a different kind of glue. So there you go. You have the other side of the inside panel, and as you go along, you're just going to finish the whole box on the inside. And what a nice container in your bathroom. You could put some soaps in there. Hers made one. These are great gifts, very inexpensive. Here's one with the different, I'm going to have to go back in there and glue that later. Glue my legs back on. You doing okay, Dylan?
Yep.
This one with the Lady of Guadalupe. This is a nice, you could buy a real nice rosary, and that would be a beautiful gift. Some of these, you know, are things that you would have, you know, on your side table, your night table, and it's just a beautiful way, expressive and creative and thoughtful way to tell somebody how much you care for them or that you love them, because it's handmade. You could also put your images here to kind of cover the, you know, the name of the cigars, or use other type of craft paper like this decorative paper that we used before for the puppet show. They come in so many different variety colors and designs, and you could just use the colors and designs that you like that lend themselves to the particular piece that you're working with. But again, working with a big sheet of paper like this, you kind of have to create a pattern for the size and shape that you need to cover in a certain area. That helps you cut the lines straight and not have to hassle too much when you go to line the inside of the box. Okay, how are we going over here, Dylan?
Good.
He's putting stamps on the back side. It's coming along very, very nicely. Okay, what else about the boxes? The tins, you know, it's the same idea, except like I mentioned before with this, if you're going to put buttons or other objects, because it's metal, you might want to use a heavy-duty glue. I like this one because it dries pretty quickly. It's called Quick Hold, and all of these glues, you can find them at the craft store. And it's kind of sometimes difficult to work with because it sometimes the glue gets stuck in there. You kind of have to poke it with a little shish kebab stick to open that hole. But once the glue starts flowing, then you can get on a roll. And pretty easy just to stick those on there. Anybody can do this, right, Dylan?
Yes.
If we can do it, you can do it. All right. And we want to remind everybody that, you know, if you have any questions, you can type them into the Facebook chat, and we'd be happy to answer those questions for you. And also, I mentioned it last week, or the last session too, we'd like to see your photos of things that you're working on. And let me get that card out. If you send them to this address, info@stpaulsa.org, we can put your pictures on the community board and let everybody see your creativity. This will be the last session for the summer. Dylan's going to be going back to school, right, Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited about that, Dylan?
Yes.
He's excited to go back to school, but he's going to stay safe, right? And, you know, once school starts, you know, and you get busy, you always can find time to do something creative. Again, it's a very nice way of being constructive in a positive way. Keeps your mind off of being bored, right, Dylan?
Yes.
Do you get bored, Dylan?
Yes, I do.
My goodness, that's impossible.
What do you mean?
It's impossible that you would get bored. You have so many things to do. Play with Luna, play with your sister, help your mom around the house. Look how easy that was. Ta-da!
Let me see. Oh my God.
It's got all this numbers, all the numbers. Oh, another idea. Oops, I really gotta let that stick. It's coming undone. But after it's hard dried, the glue is hard dried, then you can go in there and line it. You could even put the same element as feet on the bottom. Another thing I did one year for my husband is I made a wooden box for him, and it had pennies. Remember, honey? All these shiny pennies. And now we're running out of coin change. Yes, I glued them on the box with this E6000. But that's another idea. If you have a lot of loose change now that... I don't know. But it came out wonderful because they were all shiny pennies, and you could polish up the copper. We're not making copper. You can really get inventive, different ways to create boxes. How are you coming along, Dylan?
Good.
I think that's about it. Did we talk about everything? Here's some old buttons. You know, you get
Let me see.
buttons, old buttons off of
Oh,
shirts.
I bet I'll use some of these.
Here, let's put this here so it won't spill. You gonna glue some buttons on there?
Yep.
Okay, the buttons, if you're gonna glue them, you gotta use this tacky glue.
I know.
All right. I don't even know why you're holding on to them, but you could maybe appreciate them more on a really, really nice box like this. Okay, so what's going to happen next is we want to thank our audience, right? Are you almost done?
Yeah.
For having joined us all week. All summer long. We had a great time doing different arts and crafts. Like, what were some of your favorite things to do, Dylan, on the show that we did?
Everything.
We made
I said it already.
we made rock art.
What's-
We made art with sticks. We made art with egg cartons. We made art with foam stamps. We made art with what else did we do?
What else?
Huh?
Oh, that was
The bandanas. That was the last show with. Oh, we made the sock puppets and the puppet theater. So we've had a lot of fun. We've been very creative, right, Dylan? And we hope that you can go back to some of those old episodes and you can replay them. They'll be available online at stpauls.org, right? On the Facebook, on YouTube, Royal on YouTube. All right. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Oh, there's somebody knocking.
Oh, is it time for the puppet show?
Who is it? Don't tell me. Oh my gosh, Dylan. Look who came to visit us.
Let me see which one.
Look who came to visit us today. we have some visitors that came to say goodbye, and one of them is Lola. Here's Lola.
And
let's put this one over here. Who
now
else came to visit us?
you're having some trouble.
We're having some technical difficulties. We didn't plan this out too well. But we had these friends that wanted to stop by and tell everybody thank you for coming by. Let's see. I think we got it together now. I think we did. Got it?
Yep.
All right. What's your name? I forgot your name.
You forgot for the last time.
Uh,
It's Karate Kid.
Karate Kid came and Lola came. And did you have something you wanted to share about what you enjoyed doing at the show? Yes. I wanted to tell everybody that I really liked that y'all came and had fun with us. And what was your favorite thing to do in the show, Lola? Well, I really like Dylan the most. I really like Dylan. Oh, I have to agree with you. Dylan was just amazing. Karate Kid, do you have something special that you wanted to tell everybody?
Well, for the first time,
Yeah.
I love eating curtains.
You love eating curtains. Okay, well, you can eat the curtains. Just don't knock them off the stage. Well, we thank you for joining us, and the puppets thank you for joining us too. And we hope maybe next year we'll come back and visit next summer.
Peace
Y'all
out.
be safe, and don't forget, Dylan,
We love you.
we love you guys. We love you.